that we have completed our research, we will begin to make our presentation in Google Drive. So, let's go to Google Drive. Because you are working in pairs, one partner will need to go to Google Drive and make a new folder and title it the name of your invention. Click on the folder and share the folder with your partner. Make sure this section says Can Edit, so both partners can view and edit the folder, and then select Send. Now we're ready to go to Google Slides. So click on Slides and add a slide. When I begin a project in Google Slides, I like to first click on Layout and begin with a blank slide. We know that we have an introduction slide or a title slide, and we also want to add 5 facts about our inventor. So we probably need about 10 slides. So what I like to do to make slides is I just copy and paste the slide. You can do it any way that you know how, but I find this the easiest because the slide stays blank instead of adding text boxes. I have 9 blank slides. So I'm going to click on a presentation that I've already begun for this tutorial. The first thing I want you to notice on the screen is that you have 2 sections in slides. You have the actual slide, and then down here below the line is a notes section. We are going to use this notes section for this presentation, and we will get back to the notes in just a minute. First, I want you to right-click on your slide and change the background. All of the background on these slides will be black, so we'll click Add to Theme and Done. And now you can see that all the slides are black. Okay, so let's look at the notes I've added already to the presentation. This is my introduction slide, and I will have my title and my team member names on this slide. The next slide begins talking about our 5 facts. I actually added one piece of information that I didn't have in my 5 facts. I added that Ruth Wakefield accidentally invented the chocolate chip cookie. The next slide, number 3, is I'm beginning to tell my story. Ruth Wakefield ran the Toll House Inn in Whitfield, Massachusetts. Often, she baked cookies for her guests. And she happened to use baker's chocolate to make the cookies. But on one occasion, she ran out of baker's chocolate, so she substituted broken pieces of semi-sweet chocolate, thinking they would melt into the cookies. But the chips did not melt. They stayed solid. And Ruth Wakefield became famous for inventing the Toll House chocolate chip cookies. She sold her cookie recipe for a lifetime supply of chocolate, and it all started by accident. Okay, so this is my story about how my inventor invented her invention. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to tell a very clear story about how your inventor invented their invention. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add pictures. Okay, we've got our information, and you don't see anything on the slide yet, right? You just see a black background. So now we want to add our pictures, and I want to find a picture of chocolate chip cookies. So to find my pictures, I'm going to go to Google. I'll open a new tab, type in Ruth Wakefield chocolate chip cookies, and click on Images. Many images come up. And what I'm going to do is think about my slides and think about the pictures that I want to use with the words that I wrote in my notes section. So I know for my first slide, I want a picture of chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to save this image into my Google Drive. My next picture, I know that I want a picture of Ruth Wakefield. So here's a picture, and I'm going to save it again into my Google Drive. I also know that she ran the Toll House Inn, so it might be good for me to have a picture of the Toll House Inn. And again, I'll save that into my Google Drive. So that gives you an idea of how I'm searching for my pictures. I may have to go in because I know that I'm going to need a picture of chocolate pieces. And so sometimes you have to change your search terms, and I would say chopped chocolate pieces. And here I see a picture that I think I want to use. So I'm going to save this into my Google Drive. So there I've got 4 pictures, and now we're going to see how we can insert those pictures into our presentation. Remember, you're going to need a picture for every slide that you created. Okay, so I've saved my pictures into my Google Drive, and now I'm going to add them into my presentation. I know that I want my first slide to have the picture of chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to insert image, and since I saved them in Google Drive, I'll click Google Drive, and I know that I saved them into this folder. So here's the picture of my chocolate chip cookies. And actually, this picture, you can change the transparency and you can make it brighter or darker. And I like this picture because it's the title page. I want to put writing over it. So I like to have that picture a little bit lighter. So now I'm going to go to my second slide. Ruth Wakefield accidentally invented the chocolate chip cookie. So I'm going to add my image of Ruth Wakefield. And I might want to make it a little bit bigger. My next slide, Ruth Wakefield ran the Toll House Inn. I'm going to add my picture of the Toll House Inn. Okay, so you can see how the presentation is going. I'm going to end up having all 9 pictures. Okay, so here's my presentation. Let's take a look at it. Who invented the chocolate chip cookie? By Mrs. Hopper. Ruth Wakefield accidentally invented the chocolate chip cookie in 1930. She ran the Toll House Inn in Whitfield, Massachusetts. Ruth Wakefield liked to bake cookies for her guests. She used baker's chocolate. On one occasion, she ran out of baker's chocolate, so she had to find chocolate pieces and chop them up. She thought they might melt, but to her surprise, they stayed solid. And here are the chocolate chip cookies. Ruth Wakefield became famous for inventing Toll House chocolate chip cookies. She sold her recipe to Nestle for a lifetime supply of chocolate. And it all happened by accident. Okay, so that's the presentation. Notice that I knew my story. You know why I knew my story? Because I'm using short sentences and telling it like a story. There's no words in this presentation except on the title. So now we've done all of our research. We've learned how to make our slide presentation, and in the next video we're going to learn how to present to the class.